Hello and welcome again to Immigration News and Views. My name is David Nachman. I'm one of the managing attorneys at NPZ, Nachman Fawani Zimochek Law Group, with offices in Ridgewood, New Jersey. We also have offices in Midtown Manhattan and New York City. Our new office on 39th Street at 108 West 39th Street. And we also have offices in Canada with affiliated offices in Mumbai in India, and also now we have a legal representative in Gujarat for those of our clients who find that to be an easier place to meet with our representatives. And with me today is Ravindra Singh. Ravi is one of the attorneys here in our office in Ridgewood, and Ravi and I were talking about some of the cutting-edge information that we'd like to bring to your attention. And obviously we're just sort of coming down off of the H-1B season. And I believe that on May 5th it was that the final announcement was made that the lotteries have been run and the H-1B petitions are being returned, the ones that were not, of course, chosen. And so Ravi and I were thinking about what information would be really good cutting-edge information to bring to our viewers. And of course now the questions seem to be coming in quite a bit for those individuals whose H-1Bs were not chosen. So I think that what we'd like to do is maybe go through a couple of the options that might be available to those of our viewers who were not chosen in the H-1B lottery.
Sure. I want to bring to attention to the viewers that there are few options that you need to explore before you make a mind that okay, I'll not be able to work here in the US, or if somebody is working here on US or was petitioning for an H-1B and thinking that okay, now my time is up and I need to pack my bags and go to my home country. So there are a few options, and the first option that I want to discuss is the cap-exempt H-1B visas. There are certain categories of cap-exempt H-1B visas, but what I wanted to focus is are the cap-exempt H-1B visas that you could qualify for if you have a job offer from an academic institution or from a government or a non-profit research organization. So when I say academic institution, then there are certain nuances that you need to take into consideration. Like the academic institution should be classified as an academic institution of higher education as per the section 101A of the Higher Education Act of 1965.
Exactly. So what our viewers should know is that if they get a job offer from an academic institution, they should check with that provision of the law to ensure that that academic institution is in fact qualified to be able to give them the benefit, right, Ravi?
Yes.
Okay.
And the most important thing that you need to check if the organization or the academic institution is qualified to be called an academic institution of higher education in the United States is whether it's a public institution, or if it's a private institution, then it should be a non-profit educational institution. So having job offers from these kind of organizations or academic institutions could qualify you for an H-1B for an H-1B cap-exempt visa. And one more interesting thing that I wanted to discuss with you, David, is it's not just the job offer from the academic institution or from the research organizations that could qualify you for a cap-exempt H-1B visa.
Exactly. Ravi, you're taking the words right out of my mouth, which is perfect, because it's one of the things that you and I discussed in the hallway upstairs, and we didn't really have an opportunity to discuss it here before the video, but it's really important, I think, for our viewers to understand that you can take it a step further. You can extend this concept of the academic institution, because it has to do with this concept of affiliated with, right?
Yes.
So maybe you want to explain that a little bit to them.
Yes, it's if some of the institution is kind of affiliated with an institution of higher education, then you may qualify for the cap-exempt visa, cap-exempt H-1B visa. And another interesting point that I want to share is it's not just the employment at the academic by the academic institution that may qualify you for a cap-exempt visa. Even if you are employed at the academic institution or a research organization through a different employer, like if it's a for-profit employer, like suppose any other employer in the market, and you are primarily working at the academic institution or at the research organization, and you are contributing in achieving the organization's or the academic institution's primary or essential goal, then you may qualify for the cap-exempt visas. So there are too many nuances, and it's better you should consult with an experienced immigration attorney before you really give up on an H-1B visa.
And Robbie refers to it as a nuance. I'm going to refer to it as an opportunity, because
Sure.
I think that what we need to do is we need to be proactive as legal representatives of our clients who need to obtain H-1Bs, and we have to actually sit down and try to help them to figure out what alternatives exist now, because they have a need for these science, technology, engineering, mathematics skill sets. So what can we do to help them to be able to hire these skill sets, considering the fact that these caps have been met?
Sure.
So one of the things that is really interesting, and many of our viewers might be aware of what are called incubators. Incubators are opportunities that often exist where new high-tech companies are affiliated with academic institutions, either by way of loose agreements or by way of more formal joint venture agreements. And what can actually happen, we do represent many academic institutions, Robbie, that have these types of incubators.
Sure.
And if you can put together a reasonable argument that this incubator is a joint venture between an organization in the private sector and an academic institution, there is a possibility of making a very strong argument for a cap-exempt H-1B.
Sure. I will try to give an example to make it very simple.
Excellent.
Suppose you have an employer. It's any employer in the market, and you are an IT consultant or you are a researcher, and suppose NIH, National Institute of Health, has a software, and it uses the software in kind of doing its basic research or getting the research objectives into the market. And you are basically employed with the for-profit employer, suppose any employer, and then this employer is placing you at the NIH. You are there, you are building or customizing the software, or you are doing the research, or any kind of thing that is helping the NIH achieve its primary objective, primary goal. Then you will be qualified. Means you could qualify for an cap-exempt H-1B visa.
Well, certainly a very reasonable argument can be made to that effect, and I believe that there's a memorandum. And first of all, I want to point out that Ravi and Michael Fulwani, one of our other managing attorneys here at the office, and I put together a nice article which was recently published on the web, which we recommend. I don't know if you can give them a citation to it, but it was called, I think it's called Exploring Work Visa Options Beyond the H-1B Cap. And this is something that obviously, for those of you who might be interested, we've discussed these issues much more in depth in that article, and please feel free to take a look either at our website or in some of our social media. I believe that we've blasted it out.
Sure.
So I think that that's a really nice resource, and it sort of expands a little bit upon this, this video. But I think what we're going to do is we have some other cap exemptions for the H-1B that we'd like to discuss, but I know that we're running short on time, at least with regard to this video. So what I'd like to do is, for those of you who are interested in learning other possible ways to avoid the H-1B cap and to be able to apply for the H-1B immediately without waiting until next April, please tune in to our next video in which we'll discuss some of the other H-1B exemptions. So thanks very much for being with us today, and we look forward to seeing you soon.